Steve, what if, let's say for example, you employ me and I'm working at your factory or your business or whatever, and you have me sign a document saying if you drink alcohol or test positive for alcohol on the job, or if you take illegal drugs and test positive on the job, you're going to be terminated. Does that mean you lose your workers' comp too?
It doesn't. And again, if the employer is, say, for example, a drug-free workplace, that's the terminology that's used in Georgia, that can be the basis for a termination, but that in alone is not the defense. Mm-hmm. So again, we're going back to a drug that's often used, an illegal drug that's often used is marijuana. That's something that most employers obviously do not want their employees under the influence while they're working, but of course you can test positive for marijuana and not actually be under the influence at the time of the injury. Now, if you test positive and you violated your employer's code, then you can be terminated for that, but you could still pursue your rights under the Workers' Comp Act.
Can you explain to our viewers a little bit about how you could test positive and not be under the influence?
Sure. Well, so for example, cocaine is an example of a drug that might be in your system for potentially 24 hours in a urine sample. Marijuana would be in your system potentially for up to 30 days, particularly if you often use the drug. So if you're injured, say, on a Tuesday and you smoke marijuana over the weekend, it's still going to show in your blood and urine. And so the employer is immediately going to try to deny your benefits based on that. And of course, we have the ability to address the actual facts of the accident. One of the things we talked about was, say I'm a passenger in a vehicle that's involved in a motor vehicle accident at work. I'm injured, I go to the hospital, they pull my blood or urine and I test positive for marijuana. Well, that wasn't the cause of the accident. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wasn't injured because of that. Right. And so that's a defense that if they raise it, they're not going to prevail on that.
Right. And just so you viewers know, the life effect of the drug is different for each of the drugs. And so when Steve's talking about testing positive days later, you may test positive for what they call metabolites. And a simple analogy is, say for example, you have wood and you're burning a fire. And it's putting off the heat and it burns all the wood and there's nothing but ashes. Well, everybody knows there was a fire there, and you know also that wood was burned, but you can't burn it anymore. It's having no effect any longer. And so you can test positive for marijuana at a later time, but there's being no effect on you that's occurring that would affect your ability to perform your work at that point in time. So it's a very common thing that we deal with.